Alright, so recently the Republican Party has taken aim at the EPA, or the Environmental Protection Agency. Now, unlike most government agencies, I'm actually not for abolishing the EPA. The EPA was created in the 70s under the Nixon administration because the air was dirty and the water was dirty, and we needed a way to clean it. And there was no market incentive for companies that pollute to clean the air or water. And then, like, to give you an idea of how bad it was in New York, you literally couldn't open the window without getting soot inside your house. I mean, that's how dirty the air was. But recently, the Republicans have taken aim at the EPA. Now, it's important to realize that although they're doing it for corporatist reasons and to help their friends and stuff like that, most lies come with a kernel of truth in it. So I'm going to tell you the story of Jack and Jill Barron. Now, Jack and Jill. But Jack and Jill Barron, they wanted to build their dream house. So they bought a piece of property, and a storm drain was clogged with logs near their property after a storm. Now, Jack and Jill, they already got all the permits to build on the property, but the clogged storm drain caused their property to flood. So they call their local government and they say, look, the storm drain's clogged. The government owns the storm drain, so they ask them to come take care of it. Now, they say, look, we can't send anybody out there. We don't have enough people, short-handed government, blah, blah, blah. They're like, if you can clear out the logs, then go ahead. So he gets this big, this big fucking crane. He goes, he clears out the logs, and he thinks he could build on his property. But then the federal government charges him with a felony, and the felony they charge him with is destroying a wetland. Now, obviously his property wasn't a wetland, it was just flooded at the time, and he unflooded his property. I mean, if there's a storm and my house gets flooded and I get the water out of my house, then I'm not destroying a fucking wetland. I'm just clearing the water out of my house. Now, he goes to trial. He spends a hell of a lot of money defending himself, and he gets found not guilty. So, like most Americans, when you're found not guilty, you think it's over. I mean, it was over for O.J. Simpson after he was found not guilty, not counting that civil case. So he goes back to his house, and about a month later, the EPA knocks on his door. The EPA says, look, I know you're found not guilty, but we don't really care. You destroyed what appeared to be a wetland, according to us, and we're going to fine you $37,000 a day. Now, obviously, he can't afford, no reasonable American can afford that. So he's forced to sell his property. And since his property was, basically condemned by the EPA, he can't sell it for much. So this family moves into a trailer, basically, and they're probably going to go bankrupt because they try to fight the feds for so long. Now, most people would try and sue the EPA after this, but the EPA claims, and there's a Supreme Court case like currently being ruled on, and they're not ruling on the actual case, they're ruling on whether the EPA can be sued. Now that sounds fucking ridiculous, but the EPA actually claims immunity from being sued. That they are somehow a sacred, godlike agency that can never be wrong and never be sued. Now this is one of the reasons why why conservatives or people in middle America hate the EPA. Because they hear stories like this and then they rally behind the politicians that repeat their talking points. Now the Republican Party has no interest in helping this guy. I mean, they just want to take advantage so they can help their buddies. Another case like this is the case of Tombstone, Arizona. Now they were hit by a wildfire. Wildfire destroyed their pipes, that bring water to their town from springs. Now they rebuilt they had 25 pipes, it destroyed all the pipes, except for one. They rebuilt 2, so now they have 3 pipes bringing water. Now, they were going to continue rebuilding, but then the federal government, the Forest Service, not the EPA, but it was for environmental reasons. The federal government said, if you have to only use hand tools to rebuild your pipes. Now, it's going to take fucking forever to rebuild the pipes with hand tools. And in fact, the federal government said that a wheelbarrow is too much modern technology to build these pipes. So, these people only have 2 days' supply of water, and in fact, the governor declared a state of emergency for Tombstone, Arizona. Now, Van Jones recently called people that are against the EPA, Republican politicians, people killers. Now, Republican politicians that like it, that don't care about air pollution, etc., might fit that description. Actually, they probably do fit that description. But what do you call somebody or an agency that prevents water from going to a desert, to people who live in the desert? If that's not being a people killer, I don't know what is. That's why people. That's why conservatives hate environmentalism. That's why they hate the EPA. I hope you understand that. I'm not trying to destroy the EPA, but something needs to get fixed. They can't be unaccountable. They can't be taking people's land after they're found not guilty of the crime that they're being charged. They can't be immune from being sued. They can't take away water from people in a desert. Now that's why people hate the EPA. So leave likes, comments, whatever, dislikes too. I mean, if you think that people shouldn't have water, dislike this video. Go ahead, free country, and that's it.